Hey everyone, Chad Andrews here, the 33 Rule, and we are doing some consulting for Speed Week and Athens Twilight. And I was thinking back many years ago about some of the races that used to happen, the big criteriums back in the day. And of course, this gentleman will be talking a lot about it, about how much fighting, literally sometimes fighting, was going on in some of the crits back in the day. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on, I don't even know if you like this term, and I don't even know if you embraced it, but Ivan Dominguez, the Cuban Missile. Are you still embracing that, by the way?
I don't mind. People use it, but it's fine. It doesn't
I
bother
think
me.
I've got a sense you don't like it.
I got it from some guy that was doing an interview from me down in, I believe I was in Miami after some races or something, and I was racing for Saturn, and then he put it as a headline. I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I never like it, but whatever, kind of people stick with people, and then they still use it, and I don't mind. I don't get upset or anything like that. But for
But it's
me,
kind of stuck.
yeah.
All right. Let's flash back. Well, let's talk about you right now. If anybody that's following your Instagram, what's your Instagram? The official Ivan Dominguez or?
Yeah, Ivan Dominguez official. Yeah.
Okay. So Ivan Dominguez official, you are a full-on triathlete right now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm kind of done with that. Since COVID, since COVID came, I completely stopped because there were no races. And then I kind of tried to renew my license, my professional license, but somehow between USA Triathlons, and myself, we were going back and forth in emails because I was trying to renew my license and trying to do everything. And every time I got to the payment section, click continue, and then the screen will go blank. And then, I tried different cards. I tried my wife's card, and I was really upset. I'm like, I'm done with this. And they're like, oh, we don't see anything. The IT people don't see anything. So I never renewed the license, and I kind of let it go. And well, down the road, I find out that some other pro and actually age groupers, they were having the same issue. So I was like, okay, I guess it wasn't me. So, but I kind of give it, I was like, whatever, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm kind of tired. But yeah, I did it for 6, almost 7 years. Yeah. It was fun.
How time flies, man. 6 or 7 years. All right. Well, then let's flash back. I'm going to share something with you here. And clearly it's not working. Let's not share that. Well, I say that I was going to share it, but here we go.
All right.
So look at this. And this, my friend, is a long history of bike racing. But here's what I want to do with you. Okay, so we're at 2001. You see like McLean, Sequoia, but then we start jumping up to like the Tour of Georgia.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about, and of course, my hometown race, Bank of America, where you took I think you took a very small check from Charlotte that year. I was actually talking to Thad Fisher, the promoter for it, and he said, yeah, I think you like 25 grand or something you took
25 grand. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I lost that. They give you the big check to kind of go to the podium. And one of them moved it with there from Los to Vegas. I can't remember from place to place. Probably the moving guy took it because I can't find that damn check anymore, man.
They thought they could cash it, right?
I don't know. If they did, I hope I can get something from that,
So, man, that's a bummer too, because I remember seeing one of your Instagram posts and you have all these checks and I'm like, where's the Bank of America check? It's gone.
I know, man. I keep looking around the house in boxes that not in boxes, because I remember that I never fold them. I kept them in a place kind of like a straight so they don't get messed up. And then that one, and there is another one they're gone. And I'm like, man, this is terrible. So
did you have to split that check?
yes, yeah. We always did. Yeah. Well, to win the race, I was the one winning the race, but I got my teammates helping
Of
out.
course,
So
of course,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
If
But
I don't split the check, they probably kill me.
I know, right? Every team was different, so I just had to. Knew the answer, but I had to ask. All right, so you look at all these these are like stage races that we're focusing in here, but yet we start transitioning to 2005, where you do some stage racing, but more crit racing. Why the change from 2004 to 2005 to more criterium racing?
In 2005, I was in Health Net, so the team was a lot bigger. So we have enough riders to kind of do the long, hilly stage races. And then we have another team that was more for like a crit race. I got Bo Fraser with me, and then Greg Henderson, and a few of the other guys that were, few of the other good guys that were good for like lead out and stuff like that. But when it comes to do like a stage races, the team, I believe Jeff was the director. Yeah, he rather take the other guys. I did few, but I didn't get any results because I was basically working for the other guys. So that's why they're probably not there. And then in 2004, I was with Colavita, so the team was smaller. So basically, I was doing almost every single race.
And that was Colavita when it was mostly Argentines, right? Or no?
Yes. Yeah, kind of like half. Yeah.
Because it was like
it was
JJ.
Yeah. And then
his brother.
His brother. Actually, Seba was in there when I was in that team. Was J.A., and then Artacho, then a few of the other guys, and Sebastian was the team
Sebastian
director.
Alexander.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, I got Mark McComber was there. Then we got, for a little bit, we got Frank McComber, so yeah.
Did this is a leading question. You were such a great crit racer, but to me, every time I would interview you after a crit, but then after a stage race where you won, you seemed to get more out of winning I don't know. Seemed like I got a different response from you. Like the crits were maybe a little nerve-wracking for you versus maybe the stage races. Is that right? Or maybe I misread that.
Yeah. Like when people ask me if I miss or like criteriums, man, I honestly hate them. I don't like criteriums, but I was good at it, I guess. Having a good team helps because they keep you out of the dangerous situation by a lot. But I'm not a fan of criteriums, especially when they have a million turns. If you tell me there's going to have like a little bump, a little climb in between, we're talking maybe 0.5 mile or something, 0.5, 0.6 or whatever. It makes it different because it kind of, you get rid of a lot of guys that want to be at the end, but they cannot make it because, they're tired. Then I will enjoy racing those. But when it comes to like a flat with a million turns criterium, I hate those races, man. I hate them. And then stage races, I can be more relaxed when it comes to getting results, because I know that if today I didn't get anything, or I didn't place top, or I didn't win the race, or I didn't place top 10 or whatever, I know the next day I can try again. When you got 7 days like that, or 5 days, then okay, today I didn't do so well, but tomorrow I can probably have another shot and go for it. But criteriums is only one time. That's it. If you don't get it, you go back home and then wait for the next weekend. Yeah, and that is hoping that you don't crash, trying to get the win.
Here's the funny thing about it. I know that you use the word hate, which I think it's more of a nervous energy for you, because if you look at 2007 and all of these crits that you did, you actually won, if I remember correctly, the USA back then it was the USA Crit Series for Speed Week. You actually won that year by constantly being at or near the front and pushing your team to be at or near the front. Do you see that in crit and road racing as much now as it did in the past?
Back then I had a great team. Toyota we have a great lead out guys, strong guys that can pull all day and things like that. But there were also other teams really, really strong, right? With some good, fast guys, right? But nowadays, I only see one or two teams taking the front, and maybe the other team take the front for like a few laps, and that's it. And then the Legions go to the front and they control. Sometimes they even get 1, 2, 3, and 4 in some races, which is fine. I guess they are the one with the biggest budget in the United States, so they hire good guys, right? But you see the same guys winning everything. Back when I was racing, yes, I won a lot of races, but I also lost a lot of races. But they're not there because, it's no point to actually write it down, things like that. But people know that I lost a lot of races against Gord, Henderson, when we were not teammates anymore, against Jay Aedo, when Sebastian, Sebastian, he came back to US and things like that. So even Bahari, those guys, I lost a lot of races against those guys. But nowadays you only see one, a small group of guys winning racing. It's the same guys. And like I say, I got nothing against that because they're the strongest. So people have to find a way to kind of beat those guys,
Let's go into the mentality for, let's say, the reason why we're having this phone call or this conversation is because I did flashback when I was commentating Sunny King, which is the last stop of the USA Crit Speed Week that year, many years ago, 15 years ago. And I just remember the lead out trains fighting and guys bumping up against each other. And we're not talking just one team or two teams fighting for the front. Right. It was a free for all. Can you remember back, or can you give us an idea what that is as a professional bike racer to have that kind of energy where literally there is physical contact with 1, 2, 3 laps to go?
Right. Well, it's actually, those things were happening like even 5, 10 laps to go, depending how big the course was. But yeah, like you said, there was not just my team. There was another team here and another team here, and all getting ready to come by if you're not going fast enough. So there was always a lot of guys trying to bring their sprinters to the end. And oh man, it is something to be fighting there. They even want to take my lead out. They're supposed to be fighting for my wheel, but they're fighting with me for my lead out wheel. Basically not to take my lead out guy, but to kind of put me in the situation that I lose that position. Luckily, I was always very relaxed. Even that I didn't like the criteriums, I was always trying to stay very relaxed and stay away from pushing and bumping too much. I didn't want to crash. Every time I went down hard, it took me like 2-3 months to get back. So I was always very concerned about that. In the back of my head, I'm like, I don't want to crash. I don't want to lose my position because these guys are fighting also as well. But at the same time, I want to be very relaxed because I don't want to crash. So, but yeah, it's something. It's a lot of fighting, a lot of bumping. You get nervous and then you make mistakes. But like I said, when you have a good team, and I was always in the radio, wait, not yet. And then I know I can, okay, from now, you guys can go full gas. I don't want to see one single soul next to me. I want to see them behind me. So when they go that fast, people have no choice than sitting behind my wheel and hope they can beat me. Some actually did because I was jumping too early or something like that. But yeah, for me, I was always like, I'd rather jump early than wait a little bit longer. 2 seconds and you wait, that's it. You won't see those guys anymore. Yeah. And there's no way you want to pass them because they were fast too. Yeah. Candelario, Bahari, all those guys were really fast. Yeah. So
when I share this screen, And I'm sure, like a lot of us, there's some sort of vanity too. But do you ever Google yourself and just see something like this and go, "Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a career."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fun. There's a page of Cuban cycling or something like that. Some guy, some of my friends in Miami, and he posts a lot of pictures of a lot of riders. So he's always going into Google and searching for a picture of myself and posting and tagging it there. And it's kind of cool to see them. Yeah, definitely. I have fun. I have fun. I obviously make my living doing that. So was actually really good. I don't, no complaints, no regrets, nothing like that. Well, actually, I wish it, when I went to race in Europe, I wish that moment was earlier in my career than now when I went there, because I had already Maxi. He was tiny, so I have to go and leave my wife with Maxi, and then I didn't want to go because I knew I was already kind of old, but still, I have fun there. I met some good people, good friends, and then yeah, it was actually pretty cool. Even that I was there for half a season, but it's still great. Yeah, but no regrets in my career. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually were. I consider you more of a hybrid racer, because I know there's a lot of great crit racers that would no way, in no shape or form, find themselves in the Tour of Georgia, Tour of California, U.S. Pro Challenge, or those. What when you went to Europe, was it easier for you to transition as a crit racer / sprinter in stage racing to go over to Europe, or did you find that a challenge?
Oh, it was something. I don't think I didn't even make that change. I was struggling from the beginning. I only had one race that I was actually like feeling myself, okay, probably I can do this. Even I'm a little bit older. I'm not going to say old, because there was a lot of riders, the majority of the riders that were kind of my age, but they have been racing there their whole life. For me, it was something new to kind of adjust to that kind of speed all day, 280 kilometers every 2 days or every 3 days, so for me, it was kind of an adjustment to get that. But I never got to that point of being in the sprint with any of those guys, because I was getting dropped, or not making it to the finish with the good legs or something like that. Yeah, I was there in a couple of races, but not enough in my legs to actually say, okay, maybe I can do some damage in the sprint. But no, it's a whole different level. And there was only one stage race in Spain that I was actually feeling myself. I was even climbing with a front group.
Oh, wow.
And things like that. And my legs were getting, I was adjusting really nice weather and everything. And then from there, as soon as the race finished, they sent me to Belgium. And then that was the end of everything, because I was going like that, and then all the way now. And even on my contract, I remember my agent is a friend of mine. He put in the contract, you cannot send Ivan to the classics. He hates those races. He's not that kind of rider. Yeah, and you're talking March, April. It's cold and rainy over there. That's not my weather. Oh yeah, it's like so. So when I went there, everything went downhill. There were guys like Cancelara and Tom Boonen, a few of those top guys, even George Incapi, I think it was there once. Even those guys, when they saw me there, they came because I know them from other races. They say, "Don't feel bad. No one wants to be in these races, but somehow that we're good at it. So don't feel bad if you don't like it." I'm like, okay, good. So I'm not the only one.
Oh, that's a good story. Well, let me ask you this: a $5,000 gambler Prem or a win, which would you take if you kept the money?
Okay, say that again.
So a $5,000 gambler Prem or the win, you can't have both. Which do you take?
I would take the win. Yeah. I will take the win. Yeah.
There's your answer right there.
Yeah. No. I mean, those Prems, halfway point, things like that. Yeah, they have good money, but at the end of the day, they're going to talk about the guy who won the race, not the guy who won the Prem. I mean, it's nice for for someone that goes there and pay his way and things like that, his own way, they can get some money back from spending in travel and things like that. And I was always very, how do you say, like a very,
Smart.
if they put a Prem, well, if they put a Prem like that, I knew that those guys, they don't have a team or they pay their own way and things like that. Many of the times I was just like, just let it have it. It's fine. We're trying to win the race because that's what's going to actually get us another contract with whatever company is sponsoring the team for the year later, So
this one was actually very interesting because this was actually in Mandalay Bay at the
Right.
USA Crits finals. And the guy that's behind you is Martin Gilbert, the French Canadian. He went
Right.
for the Prem. He got the $5,000, but yet you came over on top of him. Was it in the back stretch of the last half?
Yeah, going into in the backside of the last lap. Yeah, about to finish the race. Yeah.
Thank God my pants game has gotten better.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw him actually going for the Prem, and then I kind of went around, and as soon as I went around, a crash happened in the, when you pass the finish, there's the first turn.
Yep.
I think Emil Abraham went down there, and a bunch of other guys. I'm like, ooh, that was close. So yeah. No, he made a great move. He got some money plus second place. That was a good move. He probably, sometimes those kind of moves pay more than winning a race because you finish second. Imagine if you're racing for 25K at the end and second place pay 20 and you got 5 or 10 from the sprint, from the lap before, you probably make more money than the guy who won the race. So,
excellent.
But I would take the win for sure.
You did there. That's why I set you up there for sure. You came through. 3K left to go in a stage race, or 3K left to go in a crit. Tell us the difference.
Oof, I would take 3Ks to go in the stage race.
And why? What's so different about it? For the people who are watching this and don't know the difference.
Right. It's more, I feel like a stage race is more, it's still a lot of fighting, but it's more calm than a criterium race. If you have a road race or a stage race, a big road race, and it doesn't have to even be a stage race. If you look at Philadelphia, the last 5K, it's wide open roads, you big turns, and you don't have to be like that all the time. Taking that and putting it next to a criterium that you have 5 or 6 turns before the finish line, and the last turn is 150 meters from the finish. Oh my God, that thing will give me goosebumps. I was like, yes, this is nutty. I don't want to do this, So that's why I was like, okay, now you can go give all you got, because I don't want to be dealing with people fighting with me or going in the inside and taking my line. Yeah, I will take a road race or a stage race finish over a criterium. And the reason is because, criterium is obviously a very technical race. In a road race, you can have some technical turns or the end of the course, but it's still not quite like a criterium race, And when it comes to a big, long road race, you're not going to have many criteriums guys doing those races.
No, right.
So.
What was there? Did you have a kill switch sometimes where you just didn't want to fight?
Now I do.
No, I'm talking about then. I know now you do because you're smarter and older.
No, now my switch is completely off and I put a duct tape so no one can switch it back and forth.
Right.
No, back then, yes. Sometimes when it was kind of like a raining or very nutty and very dangerous, I was like, okay, I'm going to put the plug because this is not, there's few other races that I can go for it. Yeah, and it was few times that I actually put the plug in races like that. But and then there were a few times that the race was like raining and with some crazy turns, And I don't know, I would just switch completely, and I was just like in another zone. I don't care if I crash, I'm going for it. But
Oh,
that was
wow.
only maybe, yeah, that will happen maybe once, twice a year if the race was like a rainy day and things like that. Normally, I'm not that way. I try to be more. I try to stay away from getting hurt or hurt somebody else. It's not just myself. I don't want to be pushing someone that goes down, broke a collarbone, miss a whole season, or can even die, from a crash like that. So, yeah, I always have my limitations or my limits when it comes to like a very, very dangerous situations going into the finish. Yeah.
Okay. This one that I'm getting ready to show you is neither dangerous nor scary nor rainy, but it is definitely very interesting. And maybe you can provide us a little insight on this one about a second place.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Man, that guy.
And I look, the only reason why I bring this up is because you referenced it probably a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, we got to talk about this. Because I remember I was there. So I remember it like, oh my, did that just happen? So do you mind walking us through what happened?
The day before, I think the first 3 days, I got second place in the first 3 days. I believe the first day I got second behind Golf Fraser, if I'm not mistaken. Then second day I got second behind Mario Cipollini. I think, can remember well. I got confused with the finish line because I was going in my zone, and I can see that he's like this much behind my front wheel. And I'm like, oh, he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. And then I see a line passing through.
It wasn't the finish line.
It wasn't the finish line. It was the pedestrian crosswalk thing. And I sat down. I sat down, he went like this, boop, and I look ahead and I try to go again, not a chance.
So wait a minute. Remember, children, everybody makes mistakes. And Dominguez learned from that mistake.
Yeah. So that day, we finished the race, presentation, whatever, the second day, then I went to the conference room, for all the interviews and things like that. Press conference, right? So I'm sitting there, and some guy, from the local newspaper or whatever, he started asking about Lance Armstrong and things like that. And I remember, I think it was James Boyd was there and a bunch of other guys. And I grabbed the microphone and I said to him, do you see Lance here? Like, why you have to bring it? Everything is this guy, and nothing against him, but it's like, do you see him here? He's the guy leading the race. This guy just won the race. I got second. This guy is holding the jersey, whatever point things. And you come and ask about Lance Armstrong. You didn't see what happened with the other people asking questions about our race. People were in love with the guy back then, and I get it. 7 tours and things like that is fine, awesome, right? But it kind of bothers me that he skip whatever we did to go and talk about him. So I told him, because he asked me directly, were you worried about Lance Armstrong in the spring? I said, I don't think he's a sprinter. Maybe when he was racing here in US as a quick guy, when he was younger, he was quick, but I don't think he's that guy anymore. So basically the conversation kind of stopped there. James Boyd was kind of laughing, things like that. And then because he knew that I went on that guy, he should not be asking that. Anyways, from there, he went and he told that to Lance's team. And then Lance got that in his head. And in the last 5K or something like that, the dude was sitting in my wheel, and I didn't even know. But I'm not expecting to see him on the sprint because I know he wants to win the whole race. He wants to stay away from dangerous position. And that race was kind of like a very fast. you make a left turn, second last turn, and you start dropping down, you make the left turn, and it's all the way downhill to the finish, right? And the guy was sitting in my wheel. Lance was sitting in my wheel for the last 3K or something.
So did you have a sweeper?
No, I didn't have any sweeper. No. I didn't have any sweeper, and I didn't have a lead out train because remember, I was racing with Polavita, so the team.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the team. I was just using other riders. You know, they would keep me out of trouble on the way to the finish, but coming into the last 5K, something like that, I would tell him, now you can leave me alone. Just I'm going to find my own way, right? I was quick and I was feeling good enough to do that. But I didn't know that he was in my wheel. And then there's Josh and Cappy in front of me, and then Horner and the other guys, and even Horner. Horner actually was the guy who told the lead out on me. He's like, when I go, you jump in my wheel. He was not my teammate. He was just racing for another team. And when he went, I sat in his wheel. He went all the way to the front, moved out of the way, and I went for it. But I can see Josh and Cappy going for the sprint and a bunch of other guys. I'm like, the last thing I had in my mind is that Lance was sitting in my wheel. And I go, I pass everybody. And then this guy came from out of nowhere. Boom. He got me in the finish. I'm like, holy shit.
Who was
this guy? I know. So, we turn around after we cross the finish and say, I think I'm going to start worrying about you. And he started laughing, I didn't have any issues with him. It's just with the guy. And later on, I find out that guy from the local newspaper went to the team and told them what I say. And I guess Lance took it personally a little bit. And then he wanted to show me that he can sprint too. But he should pay me back, because after that, he was like...
he wasn't going to beat you from then on, right?
Yeah. So, but it's good. When I see him sometimes down in Los Angeles or whatever, it's nothing, hey, how you doing? Things like that.
That's such a great story, man. It really is.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, I've only got a couple more questions because I know you've got a busy day, but do you feel that racing Criteriums actually honed your sprinting skills, even though you weren't as comfortable in Criteriums?
Racing Criteriums, the more I was doing it, the better I would get. The beginning of the season, I was always rough, from training at home, putting a lot of miles, and then doing some long riding. And the group rides that I was doing, they were not even a group rides. It was more like a big loop with a bunch of guys and things like that. But at the beginning of the season, I was always kind of rough in the Criterium, so kind of like feeling like, oh, back again another year. But then, down the road, when you do 2 or 3 every weekend or every other week or so, then I start getting a little bit loose. But even like that, in the back of my head, I was always like, don't take too many chances. You never know, So, but I think what helped me to be good in crits is I came from the track, doing point races in Madison, and I was a pursuit guy, 4K pursuit guy, so I have that kind of speed to be in the crits. And because I was doing Madison and point races, I was kind of good being in tight situations. So that helped me to do good in some of the crit and the tie and places like that. But it definitely helps when I was racing more and more and more. Yeah.
It was always fun, me cutting my teeth as a race commentator 25 years ago, when you and the guys would show up and race. And it made it challenging for me, because the racing, it's like you said, it's a little different now. It actually is. Maybe it's because I'm older. It's a little bit easier for me to commentate races, because there isn't like 6 teams that are killing each other to win a race. So I got to thank you guys, not only as me being a racer, for many, many years, but being a commentator. You guys forced me to work hard to watch and learn about each of your styles. Is that something that you pride yourself on, is having a successful career as a great sprinter in not only criteriums, but road racing. And on top of that, what's your, before I let you go, what's your absolute favorite win?
Well, the last stage of Tour of California '07, that was my biggest win. But another race, and I didn't even win that race. I got second. Henderson got me on the line with Philadelphia. The Philly, they used to be the US Pro Championship. That is, and I got second, but it's still kind of one of my favorite places. I don't know, that race, the city, the distance of the race. But yeah, definitely.
So the second
California
at Philly
07
was better than Georgia or California stage wins?
No, California stage win was actually my one of my favorite victories.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously winning $25,000
in Charlotte.
Yeah, in Charlotte. Oh, and the other things nowadays, we forgot to mention is like nowadays the crits are like 60 minutes, 75 minutes. Back then we were racing for 100K in a Criterium. That's like 2 hours, 2 hour plus, right? Because I remember the Charlotte was like 100K.
Yeah, there has been a renaissance in older crit riders to bring back that, because I do know that Armed Forces, which I work, has stayed true to the hour 45-minute crit. Twilight, hour 45. Charlotte was like that long. So and there's been sort of like, hey, can we get back to that kind of real crit racing? And I'll be curious, because from a commentator standpoint, it's interesting to watch the riders just slowly disappear after an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
It makes a huge difference, even for the ladies when you throw a race like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure the ladies can hold 2 hours. They're strong enough, sometimes they're even stronger than the guys, mentally and physically too. But even for them, it's good to have long races, not just 45 minutes, 60 minutes, that won't help a lot of riders that are strong enough. You get rid of the weak guys, and at the end, you're going to see who really was training for this race, or that race. But I wish the races were longer nowadays. I went to Sacramento to see the one the Legends guy put on, and I think that race went maybe like in 75 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, with that kind of course, you need to put here 100K, man. You cannot have like 75 minutes or even 90 minutes, still kind of short. But I wish those races were like that. Yeah.
We could talk all day. Last question. Are you going to race again?
I don't think so. Sometimes when I see the videos and things like that, I'm like,
I'm not even talking pro. Maybe even like, is there an outlet for Ivan Dominguez to burn energy? I mean, riding the trainer's great, running's great, but you've got to miss that, like that fire, or no? Maybe you're just like, that was a part of my life.
No. I mean, I like I say, when I see the videos and people post about the races, or they send me links, oh, this is going live, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh man, this is awesome, But it's, after a few seconds, no, it's okay. I don't want. And then you see a crash happening, you're like, oh no, I don't miss that. Yeah. No, I mean, after I retired, I did some races with some master teams in Los Angeles, and I did, I was racing Pro 1, and then I was a Cat 1 because I didn't
doing the double, right?
Yeah, doing the master and whatever, and then it was fun. I won a few races as a master and then as a Cat 1. But that's it. Nowadays, man, I just don't want to crash.
Yeah,
and go down, and then. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I start training and start doing a lot of races, I will get it back, because you never, that's how I feel. You never lose that kind of sensation. At the beginning, you're going to be rough, but then after that, it's like, okay, this is normal now. But then you have all those new kids that they don't care if they crash going inside you. Like, I'm like, dude, no. I think I will keep running, swimming, and riding in the trainer, taking selfie. That's a better life for me now.
Well, that's what happens when you get a little snow on here. We get smarter, right?
yeah.
Listen, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. I know you being out in California, me being here in Carolina, the timing was off, but for you to take the time to join us and, of course, talk about your experience at Speed Week and, California, it brings back great memories for me, and hopefully it brings back great memories for you.
No, definitely. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, this is awesome.
All right, buddy. Hang on. I'm going to ask a couple questions after we're done. But again, Ivan Dominguez, thanks so much for joining us.